In this asylum, I run the place. I love the look on your face. In this asylum, I wish you well, 'cause I'll be standing at the gates of hell. Between the set of thoughts of you and me, mixed with twisted imagery. Toxic love affair, and toxic goddamn air.
Hi guys, welcome to the American Ghost Hunter Show. Sorry we're late. I was going to make a joke that Mike was straightening his hair, but his hair's actually disappeared.
It did. It disappeared. I woke up and it just evaporated, I guess. I didn't know hair did that.
I had so many jokes planned.
I apologize.
To take the mick out of your hair, and now it's not there anymore. I'm just devastated. But, never mind. We will soldier on. I still have other things I can say. Like the fact that Chris does all the work. Greg, that's alright. It's alright. I know how he feels. Greg, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are your grey cars? He's painted his cars grey. I think they look awesome.
Well, just one.
Oh, who's the
That was my buddy's car.
Is it a Ford Focus in America, or is it called something else?
No, it's a Ford Focus RS.
Oh, okay.
Well,
cool.
That's my buddy's car, yeah.
Yeah, I like that car. It looks good. So you been up to much, Greg?
Not really a whole lot. I mean, getting ready for next weekend. That's about the most I've been doing.
We went to a wedding last week, didn't you?
Yes, last weekend, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. Was it a good show?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Awesome. So I guess tonight is Mike Diamond. Now, if you watch Paranal Warehouse, you might not realise that he runs. How would you describe what? Do you own it or manage it or?
Yeah, I guess I'm the co-owner with Chris. I kind of came up with the idea, and then he was dumb enough to join and jump in on the parade. So we've kind of been running it together for all these years.
And when did Paranal Warehouse actually start? That's something I've never actually asked you.
Yeah, so I mean, technically it started in 2011. So I went out to a casino with a bunch of my buddies. I think it was a bachelor party. And after a couple of drinks, that's kind of like how the idea came to me. And I don't know if that's how good ideas start, but that's how this idea started. And it was very different back then than what it is now. Things have changed a lot.
So, what was it like when it first started then?
Sure. So when I first started, we wanted to create like a niche social media website where people could post and share their evidence and kind of like share ideas. But I didn't know that people were so super uptight about sharing anything in the field that like it just didn't work. It didn't work. We tried for years.
It's because people don't like they don't want people like criticizing their work or whatever.
I mean, everybody's got to. That's why you put it out there. You know, it's been a very frustrating uphill battle for sure. But yeah, people were like super. I don't know why this like part of the community started where people were afraid to share, and I don't know if people were mean or what the situation was. But it was definitely hardcore embedded that people were not going to share their evidence. I think some people wanted to put them on the TV shows, but I don't know. But it just didn't work, and we kind of had to like turn the boat around big time.
Yeah, I mean, people get really funny with their evidence. I find people don't like people just want you. They just want you to look at it and go, "Oh wow, that's amazing." They don't want you to like question it or anything. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are very sort of protective of it. And well, yeah, I mean that's basically why I think it is. Greg, Could you just ask some questions for Mike for me a second? I need to rearrange something on my end.
Yeah. So Mike, when was the last time that you actually had investigated at Hinsdale?
Oh, at Hinsdale?
Yeah.
We've been a bunch of times. I don't know, dude. Maybe like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, because
Yeah.
I was just there like a month ago or so
Yeah.
with Austin, and I mean it was a great time. We actually at first it didn't seem like we were getting a whole lot, and then it just started picking up throughout the night, and then we ended up like going to sleep right there on the main floor, and stuff was going off all night long. I mean, we just kept getting woken up by the REM pods going off, by like bangs, noises. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's been quiet when we were there as well. I think we got like some potential EVP at some point. But we did. The only weird thing that I got there is my buddy Bill Hyland set up an experiment where you have like, I guess like, I don't remember what it is, 2 AA batteries, and you're able to measure the electrical output that the batteries are doing. And the experiment is to film until the batteries are drained to see if like the haunting or whatever part of the house like has an influence on battery drain. And we had 2 sets of batteries. We ran it 3 times. We had 2 sets of batteries that ran their normal lifespan of if you just had them running all the time. And then the 3rd set, they lasted maybe like 20 minutes. And we don't know how to explain that. But yeah, we had some quiet times there as well. I will say that it has an ominous feel though when you get in that place. It's definitely creepy.
Yeah. I mean, we were there majority of the day. I mean, we got there pretty early because we were at another place the night before, and then I mean, it was pretty crazy. Like, I mean, going through the woods is pretty cool. We had lots of stuff going on outside. We heard all kinds of crazy noises. Later on in the night, we actually had like a pack of wolves. It seemed like they were surrounding us, so we got back in.
Get out of here!
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You heard them inside the house?
Oh yeah. I mean, like we were standing out back because we had a fire going, and you could literally hear them like from down the creek, like right past the lake or the pond, and then I mean they just kept getting closer and closer and closer, and they had to have been within, I'd say 50 to 60 yards from us, and it was like, no, it's just time to go. I mean, they were way too close.
It is definitely time to go. That's kind of like
Yeah.
horrifying.
Yeah.
So is there something sort of special about the land that Hinsdale's built on? I mean, I've spoken about this loads of times with like Daniel when he's been on the show before, but my brain, I'm just always forgetting stuff because I'm just getting new stuff coming in, old stuff go out. Is it like is it sort of on an Indian land or something?
Yeah, I think it's Native American land from way back. I think there's like a bunch of stories about the people that used to live there, and there was allegedly like an exorcism there at some point. There's a bunch of different stories from that house. So, I don't know like which ones are as real as others, but that's what they say.
And would you say that Hinsdale is one of the best locations you've ever been to?
I'll say this, like, it was definitely good, and like I haven't experienced like a creepy effect as much from any other location than that place. It just gave me a weird feel, which I usually don't feel. But when it comes to investigations, we haven't captured much. Like, it's been frugal out there. I don't know if that's the proper term, but
yeah.
We usually don't get that much stuff. Like we struggle, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, there's a location like that over here. I mean, you guys will probably know it as the Black Monk House.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, most people in the UK know it as 30 East Drive because that's its address. And I mean, if you've seen the Paranormal Lockdown episode, obviously you can see what can happen there. But
right.
There's so many people that have gone there and got absolutely nothing. I mean, from personal experience, I can tell you that. And something that Greg said earlier about sleeping on the floor in Hinsdale, I slept on the floor of 30 East Drive because everyone else had a chair or a bed. I was left to sleep on the floor.
Sad.
And for some reason, out the back, there's like this little room at the back of the Black Monk House where it's got photographs of evidence. I use that term loosely because it's not, because I was able to give a reasonable explanation for all of them. But there was like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer duvet cover or
dope.
or comforter, or whatever you want to call it, and it stank. But I was that cold that I had to use it. And it was one of the worst night sleeps I've ever had in my life because I was using a pillow that felt more like a sandbag as well.
It's all gross. This is all gross.
It was just one of the...
That's how they live over there, though.
Sorry? Yeah, that's how we live in the UK.
Yeah,
You know?
I heard you guys sleep on sandbags. I didn't know.
That's why we're so tough, and we don't...
Right.
and you know, we don't shoot we don't shoot guns with bullets in. We insert bullets manually. That's how tough we are. We just hold them and go like that. So I say that knowing Mike and Greg can't actually see me. I can't see the action, but you guys can.
Yeah.
I felt it though.
Yeah.
So let's talk about real or fake, or
Sure.
fact or fact, or whatever it's called. So when did you guys do the show before Paranormal Warehouse, or did you start it up during your Paranormal Warehouse years? Let's say.
Yeah, we wanted to kind of like do something that was not poking fun, but more fun and pointing out kind of the ridiculousness that can exist.
Yeah.
Just because it's entertaining.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been doing it for a long time. Sometimes, you know, in the beginning, episodes could go like a month in between. But now we're trying to do it weekly. We're struggling because I've been through a move which is ridiculous. You can see behind me.
I can see it caused your hair to fall out. Yeah.
Yeah, it just fell right out. But yeah, we try to do it weekly, and it's more to like be lighthearted and joke around a little bit. We have shown stuff that we don't know how to explain, but most of the time it's us looking for the most ridiculous trash that we can on the internet.
There's plenty of it, so.
There is. There is. Sometimes it's so trash that I'm like, we can't use this. It's too much trash.
Yeah, I mean, we try not to take ourselves too seriously on this show either. Although we are going to. I haven't told Greg this yet, but we are going to try and hold back on the swearing a bit more for future shows. Okay,
yeah,
Greg?
it's we could talk about that too. Like,
okay,
it's
go ahead.
frustrating that I'm frustrated that we all have to jump through so many hoops to be like validated in some way. I don't know why we're on this bad kid list or whatever. But yeah, I guess, you know, Chris and I swear all the time on real or fake, so we gotta cut back as well. And you know, I have fun swearing, so it's kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, sort of, I need swear words to connect my sentences together. Otherwise, I struggle to think what to say, and it's very difficult. I'm struggling tonight because I'm like, I can't swear. Words. Full stop. Help. Yeah, Annie, Mike's hair is missing. We just explained that. He's stressed out because he's moved recently and it's just fallen out. Although it might look like a perfect haircut, it has it's literally it's not fallen out. It's sort of cut itself.
So it's kind of like it's emo.
Yeah, I mean,
a little bit.
I'm disappointed. I was kind of I was going to try and convince you to get a mullet, but
we could always work towards that goal, though.
Yeah,
you know, that's not off the table. It'll just take a little bit.
Let's just try and get you to look as white trash as possible.
Right, that's exciting.
Although, is that kind of disrespectful towards a mullet? I don't know.
I guess it's how you see it, honestly.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen anyone with a mullet haircut with my own eyes. Like,
Yo,
in
I
person.
just saw somebody with a mullet haircut, and I thought to myself, you're the man, dude. Like, good for you.
That's a fine haircut.
It is a fine haircut in the middle of ShopRite in Nutley, New Jersey.
I was so disappointed when season 9 of Walking Dead came along and what's his face has got rid. I can't remember his bloody name now, but he's got rid of his mullet. What's his name?
Yeah, it's messed up.
Eugene.
Why do you gotta
Eugene got rid of his mullet. And I was like, that's disappointing. I'm really disappointed with that. Although he looks a bit more like badass, but he still talks like I can't say that word, like he normally does. But then again, sometimes I wonder if that's how I sound to Americans because I use like the Queen's English.
Yeah.
Wait, what does that mean?
I'm English. I don't know. I don't know what it means. I just
that
made it
up?
up. No, I mean, like, you know, I mean, a lot of Americans think I'm quite posh, but in the UK, I have a fairly common accent. This isn't posh whatsoever. I don't know what you guys think, but
No, I feel like whenever I hear the English, I feel like it's like I don't want to say authoritative, but just like I'm like, oh, that guy knows his stuff. I don't know anything about that guy, but I think he does.
yeah, I really don't. It's like Tom Ellis, who plays Lucifer in the series Lucifer.
Right.
Originally, they wanted him to talk with an American accent, but they decided that he can get away with more if he actually uses his own accent.
I would say 1,000%.
They felt that if you use an English accent, you can get away with being like basically a dickhead. Oh, I just swore. I told you.
It's, yeah, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah. And unfortunately,
why.
for some reason, it doesn't work with me. Maybe it's because Tom Ellis is also good looking at the same time. Yeah, so we are trying to cut back on the swearing, but I am going to keep the parental advisory explicit content down there because of Greg's face. So,
That's all right.
no, it's all right. It's because of my face. That's why I've actually got like I've got like herpes or something on my face. That's why I've got my hand in front of my chin.
You got the gift that keeps on giving, huh?
Yeah, well, it's not actually herpes. It's just a weird reaction to something, but it's not herpes. It might be. I'm hoping it's not.
Yeah.
So with Paranal Warehouse, Mike, do you and Chris have any plans for the future regarding it?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of plans that I would like to do. Like, first for me personally, I gotta kind of like get back into the game. Like having a baby and stuff, and moving, and I changed jobs.
Yeah, I know you feel with that.
I've been like knocked out, and it's starting to normalize now. So, I need to start doing more. But I mean, it's really just so many doors would open up if we were able to kind of unlock this Facebook gate that we have.
The mystery of Facebook and their algorithms.
I know it's you know, like for whatever reason we grew on here the most. You know, there was a time.
YouTube is a mystery to me personally. I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, I guess like you just kind of have to like become a hit over there. I don't know. You know, so we're on there, but for whatever reason it took off. Like back in the day in Facebook, it was more of like the Wild West. So like we would be getting thousands of follows a day, just completely naturally, just by people sharing and stuff. But then they put the limitations up for whatever reason. I guess they have their own, like to make sure that there isn't like garbage being spread around or whatever. But it's limited us big time. But I mean, we have such a big following at this point. If we do kind of break through that, I would love to put, you know, things like ad revenue towards developing production, like helping you guys to make everything like however you'd want it to be. You know, like if you wanted to add something, we'd be able to do something like that. Like Greg, you always go on the investigations, like sending people out there, using it for that.
Right.
Just like creating more content and growing it. That's what I would like to do.
Greg,
Bring more people on.
What would you like for the show, Greg?
As far as with like everything, or
In general.
I mean, in general, I absolutely love going out and doing the investigations. You know, like I said, I'm going out again next weekend to do another one, and I honestly would just love doing that. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's like I just wish I could have help with getting there. Other than that, I could care less. Like I'll do everything else. But,
Yeah, but of course, you know, like you're the one driving out there, or however you're getting there. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuel, and considering fuel in the UK, Greg could probably do. I mean, how many miles did you do when you went to Norfolk and back?
Well, it was I think it was 8.5 hours one way. So,
It's a long time.
Yeah. So it's a long drive.
Because
Sure.
I mean, that doing half the amount that you did in the UK probably would cost double in terms of fuel cost. Yeah.
In the UK?
In the UK, yeah, fuel's expensive
Get outta
over
here.
here.
How much is it?
And hang on, I got to work that out because we go by the litre, not by the gallon. It's probably about $8 a gallon, roughly.
$8 a gallon? Holy
That
crap.
roughly, it might even be more than that. In some places, it is more. Like if you're on a, well, we call them a motorway, but if you're on a freeway, gas stations tend to charge like at least $1 more than they do, like if you're in a town or something.
Get out of here.
Well,
No,
how much
seriously.
is it a liter for you?
A litre, it is at the moment I pay £1.31, which is probably about $2. And
Yes, you'd be 246. Yeah, you'd be about $8 a gallon almost.
yeah. So yeah, it's expensive. Plus,
Yeah.
I have an American car, and that does
Yeah,
make it
I
10
was
times
just saying
worse.
we can't complain about that because me and you have the same car. So I mean, we obviously both see.
Yeah, but because it's an American car and it's like a 2.5 litre engine, obviously
Wait, yours is 2.4?
I think it is. I can't remember.
Oh,
But
never mind.
all I know is it's like loud. It's also a diesel engine, so that makes it even louder.
Yours is diesel?
Yeah, diesel
Oh, lucky.
diesel engines are a lot more popular in the UK.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna say mine's a 3.7 liter, but
Okay.
it's
Yeah, it's impossible to find a diesel car here.
right.
One part is a-
Well,
Carolina,
diesel is a little bit more
Yeah, right.
expensive than like regular gas, but obviously the engine is more it's able to do a lot more miles,
Yeah,
and
it lasts longer, right?
and plus diesel will last longer in your tank if you've
Right.
got depending on what car you had. I used to have a car that could do about 50 miles to a gallon. But now I've got an American car, I'm only getting about 30 miles to the gallon out of it. So, but it's a nice car, and I really don't want to get rid of it. Like yesterday, no, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, I was driving through massive puddles and just letting the water go all over the car because that's how it's like. Instead of it going sideways, it goes up and over, and I just get a kick out of it.
Oh, so you're trying to do redneck things? I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also tried to have. No, I'm not going to say that. I'll tell you what I was going to say later. Then you know why I could not say that. I still can't get over the fact your hair's been cut. It doesn't feel like I'm talking to Mike.
I know, man. I've been dancing around with it, but it was the move. I was like sweating and moving boxes. It was getting in my face, and I just couldn't take it anymore, and I lost it. And then I said the next day, I was like, I'm going to the barber. So
yeah. I mean, my hair isn't too long, but sometimes I let it. I just don't get round to getting it cut. My hair was probably half the length that yours was when I was a teenager.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it was just a mess. I didn't really know anything about hair products like you did. I mean,
all I do is Head and Shoulders.
well, that's a very good product because you had a lustrous fringe.
Oh, thank you.
I could not get over that fringe. I mean, another reason I think you cut your hair is so Facebook might take you more seriously, because they might look they might look and think, who's this hippie wanting to like try and get monetized? What's going on?
Yeah, now Zuckerberg will take a look and be like, oh, he's got his act together.
Exactly.
He's ready to roll.
Right.
And how long have you been a dad?
I've been a dad for, it's going to be 8 months this week.
Has your baby grabbed your beard?
Yo, that's another reason for the haircut. Because you would think an 8-month-old would just be like kind of like a doughy. What I anticipated was just like a bag of baby. Couldn't really do anything. Yo, they can rip a chunk of hair out, no problem. Just full grab, pulls it down. I trimmed the beard a little bit, so it's harder for her.
Yeah.
But she got a good lock today for sure.
Because I had a friend of mine who's been on the show before, Josh Bender. I was talking to him the other day, and he was saying, like, because I'm actually trying to grow my beard a bit more. Not because
Do it.
not because Daryl's not on the show anymore, and I feel that the show should have a beard on it. But I just want to grow it to see what I'd look like. Probably just a homeless Santa, but that's what I used to call Daryl. Also, I also used to call him Osama bin Daryl.
Oh my god.
I think I can get away with saying that.
Yeah, sure.
It's not like I called him something else, although I did. So he just said, by the way, you do realise your baby is going to grab onto your beard and pull, and I'm just like really worried that I'm going to end up like drop kicking the baby or throwing it away, like out of just some sort of weird reaction that I have to getting hurt.
You just push through that, Like, you feel the feelings, but you just, you let it roll off.
Yeah. That was Greg just fired.
Yep.
And that was me.
I got a train going by. Sorry.
See, now, I heard the train, and I thought it was on Alex's end, and I pictured like a Harry Potter style, like steam engine, is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
No, we don't really have steam engines unless you go to a museum. Unfortunately.
That would be cool, though.
Well, I mean, ours aren't steam engines really either.
Sorry?
Yeah,
So ours really aren't steam engines either.
Well, yeah. I mean, ours are either diesel or electric.
Right.
It's just how I dream about trains.
Yeah,
I just
the
dream
UK.
that they're steam engines. It's my fault.
I mean, okay, you can. I mean, I don't know much about Harry Potter, but when he's like when they're in like that sort of wizard world where they're like going into shops and stuff. You
Correct.
can find places that look like that, but generally, the UK is nothing else like Harry Potter, unfortunately.
I thought that it was filmed over there.
Well, yeah, obviously. Bloody train. Yeah, but it's not real, is it?
It could be real.
I mean, that train. What's going
I'm
on?
not wrong.
Is there like, I mean, how long is that bloody train?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but like, there's a couple different sets of roads that it has to cross over, so it has to blow at each one. And like, it starts way down there, and then it blows there, and then there, and then there, and then there. So
Yeah, it's safety first,
Yes, yeah.
Do you not have like gates that go down?
Most of the tracks, yes.
Most of them.
Yeah.
So over here, all if a track goes through a road, you have gates.
Yeah.
Because
Well, they're supposed to, but you also have to remember, around here, people don't care if the gate's coming down; they'll go around the gate.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
you just want to become a viral video. At that
Yeah,
point.
pretty much. I mean, I've seen a lot of people that literally just go around the gate and just keep going, thinking that it's no big deal. It's like, dude, you cannot be in that much of a hurry that you want to pull out in front of a train.
Yeah, that is insane. Where is it? Where are you, Greg?
I'm in Ohio.
like the bad part of Ohio, probably.
So I'm in Canton, Akron, Canton area.
Is that a good part?
I mean, it's not the worst. It's not the best.
I live near the seaside, so every morning I'm like woken up by seagulls making a really annoying noises. So Mike, with Paranal Warehouse and with your moving and with the baby and with getting your hair cut, do you actually investigate anymore?
Yeah, we haven't. I was going to with Chad and Adam Kimmel 2 weeks ago, but we had the whole debacle where we moved and then we had to move again.
That just sounds like too many egos in one room.
But I was itching for it, I haven't gone in so long.
Yeah.
If I were to think back, I can't even remember what the last one was. It's probably been 3 years.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think it's almost a year since I've investigated, like properly investigated.
Yeah, I've been dying to just like go out there and have the experience because I'm still, like I said, I haven't gotten anything super profound yet or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely had times where I doubted a lot, and I still do. but I've heard stories from people that I trust, and like I would just like to have an experience like some of the things I've heard other people say, just to kind of like selfishly validate for myself like that we're actually doing something, and that there is something out there.
So what's the most profound moment for you to sort of say, okay, yeah, ghosts are real?
I haven't had that yet.
Okay.
But I have had weird stuff that I can't explain. So the most things that we've gotten, we've gotten mostly EVP, and we've had a few that I don't know how to explain it, and they're kind of like answering questions that we've been talking about. We got a bunch in Gettysburg, and then we got 2 in Eastern State Penitentiary. And we've gotten other ones that are like, I don't know. But those experiences in particular were super clear. It sounded as if a person was there. To me, it couldn't have been anything else, so I don't know how to explain those. And then we had a situation, Chris hates talking about it, but where he became like emotional during an investigation.
It happens. People don't realise that spirits can do that to you. I mean, if not emotional, angry, happy, like depressed, I've had it all happen.
Yeah, that's a lot more than people think.
Yeah, it was like, and if you guys know Chris from like the show and stuff, he's like a dry guy, you know? Like he doesn't get emotional like that, but he did, and we also captured like what sounded like a child speaking in between that event because we were recording it. So it was definitely weird. That was probably the weirdest one, just because we had him feeling weird, and we had the kid talking in the background. We couldn't hear what he was saying, but it really did sound like a kid kind of like talking far away. So that's what we got. But if I'm going to be honest, like that's really it. We've gotten other weird things, but I couldn't chalk it up to like, I can't explain this 3 different ways. You know what I mean?
So for you to say, like, for definite, yes, ghosts are real, what would you have to experience?
Like the term ghost, right?
Well, spirits
like,
or whatever.
There could be like different strange anomalies that happen naturally, because if these things do happen, it's a part of some sort of the natural world that we don't understand. So, like, it could be different things that are all being like lumped into the idea of a ghost. Like, I have no idea, but I would have to like see something or feel something that to me, without a shadow of a doubt, like was a ghostly type experience, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what about like a full apparition?
Yeah, I mean, like, I would poop my pants, for sure.
I mean, with a
like,
full apparition, you might not even realise you're seeing a ghost.
Right, I've heard that too, where people opened a door, and they were weirded out that they saw, like, a person, and then that person ended up not being there, and it was clear as day. I've actually gotten more, and from, like, people that I trust, that it was more of an experience of, like, yo, there was just a person there, and then the person wasn't there. It wasn't transparent or anything like that.
And what about I'm trying to think. What if you were not possessed, but sort of like on the fence of being possessed, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, even if I had a experience like Chris, he says he doesn't know how to explain that. So any type of like strange flux in emotion or some weird feelings or like a feeling of the past, like a past experience that came out of nowhere. Yeah, for sure. Even like a disembodied voice or something. I've never heard anything live. It's all been through recording. So, I'm looking for something here. For Pete's sake.
So what's the craziest place you've probably been to?
I don't know. They're also cool because I'm like a nerd with history too.
Mm-hmm.
So they all of their little histories are ridiculous. Like Gettysburg is bonkers. You could still see like bullet holes in buildings, and they have all that. And even small, more local places like the Hinsdale House, where you learn about why it's there, and it's been there for a long time, and all that stuff. I mean, Eastern State is a cheesy choice just because it's like the Disney World of paranormal investigating. But I mean, that place is crazy.
I thought Gettysburg was more like the Disney World.
You're probably right because there's more locations.
It's about the same size.
But it's cool, man. Like they had two people that were in this like main corridor, and then they let us branch off and do whatever we wanted to do. So it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the more intimate, like smaller locations, just because they're not as like commercialized.
They're not as tiring either.
Right. Yeah, that too.
Like I've done like massive locations before, and it's like you just can't get it done in one night. And if you somehow manage to cover the ground, you're only in each part for like 10-15 minutes, and by the end of it you're knackered.
Yeah, there's a lot of walking for sure.
Just going back to what you were saying about like seeing bullet holes and stuff in Gettysburg. Obviously, one thing I can do that you guys can't do unless you get on a plane is obviously I've on a school trip I've been to France and Belgium and stuff to look at World War One related things, and I mean the trenches in itself were just mental because you just don't. I mean, you hear that they're not far apart, but when you actually get out of the British trench and then walk to the German trench, it is literally like 5 to 10 seconds. That's of walking. That's how big the distance is. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, and
how do they build them? Now you're getting all.
Well, they just dug them. They basically started in Belgium and then went all the way down to the coast in France.
That's crazy.
And there's still some that you. I mean, in Belgium we went to some trenches that were excavated, and you can now walk around what they would have been like. But in one particular area, the Somme, where they had like 100,000 men dying a day almost at one point, you literally could just get up and just walk across, and you're there within like 10 seconds. It's literally 100 yards. That's it.
That is crazy.
Probably less than that. Probably more like 50 yards. And because of all the shells and etc. going off, the ground is like it's just lumpy, and there's like massive holes everywhere and stuff. And there's this one place where the British they decided to start digging tunnels towards the German trenches and laying like tons of dynamite. And there's one massive crater. I can't remember if it was in France or Belgium. I think it was Belgium. There's one massive crater that if you saw it, you would think it was the crater that was left there after an asteroid hit the Earth and wiped out the dinosaurs. It was massive. And they say that on one of these explosions, you would have been able to hear it. I mean, because this is like hundreds of miles away from Paris. They said you would have been able to hear it in Paris. That's how much dynamite was used. But the best thing that I remember seeing, because this is what made me think of it, was the bullet hole. There was a World War One monument, and this is going to connect the Americans as well. There's a World War One monument by the side of a road. Now, in World War Two, a German group of soldiers were driving along the road. A Mustang attacked them, and in the World War One monument, this statue, there's like a line of like 5 bullet holes that came from the Mustang shooting at this German group of soldiers and stuff. That for me was actually I found that more interesting than anything else, and there's so much there to see. I mean, and that is one thing that we have that Americans don't have. I mean, you guys have a massive prisons and massive asylums, and for some reason demons everywhere. But in the UK, obviously we've got the history, we've got the castles, we've got all the way up to like you're talking castles that are like 1,000 years old, and you can go even further back than that with the Romans invading. So you're talking like 40 AD.
That history is ridiculous.
It is. It's mental. I mean, I used to live in a house older than America. That's how ridiculous it is.
It's pretty amazing.
But
now, see, I got a question because you know I have to ruin everything. So when you're talking Mustang, I know you're talking about the plane,
Yeah.
but my first natural reaction of you talking about that there was soldiers and then there was a Mustang coming towards them, I instantly think of a Ford Mustang because it's a crowd killer and it likes to kill it.
the P-51.
So that was my first instinct, but I knew what you were talking
The
about.
P-51 Merlin Mustang. I think it was a Merlin engine. That's what attacked them. Not a, yeah. I mean, unless somehow some American guy like got a time travel machine and decided that he's going to go and take on all the Germans in a 1969 Ford Mustang muscle car to try and like turning up, doing a spin, lifting up his glasses, and then he's got like massive guns and just shooting off at them. That just sounds like a great like American action film that should be made. Someone get Sylvester Stallone on the phone. That sounds like a nice thing.
Yeah,
that he'd
we'll
like.
work on it after the show.
Yeah, but hey, if anybody on here is a Mustang fan and they like Mustangs, sorry, I'm not trying to, hurt your feelings or nothing.
But I like
I
Mustangs.
speak the truth. That's all I can say.
It's a problem. The problem is.
I actually, this is kind of a funny story, real quick, completely off topic. So I went to a car show yesterday, and my daughter was with me the entire day. So I had even said to her, I said, hey, every time you see a Mustang, you need to yell "run" and turn around and run the other direction. And she thought it was really funny until she like almost started doing it. And I'm like, no, you can't do that in the parking lot.
Yeah,
but it was pretty humorous for a while.
So do you have something against Mustangs?
Yeah, but it's only because of Americans. People in the area, I'll just say that.
I don't know much about cars, just to clarify, but personally, I prefer the Dodge Challenger.
Okay.
That's my personal. But then, if I had to choose, I wouldn't choose an American car, even though I drive one.
Yeah. So you like land yachts? It's okay. I get it.
Why are Cadillacs so fucking big? I just swore again. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, forget I ever said that word that begins with F and ends in K-I-N-G.
I mean, I think we're doing a great job.
Yeah.
I think we're doing a bloody good
I
job.
probably don't cuss that much on the show anyway, but
I'll tell you something that's quite funny. I don't know what show it was, but there was a guy on an American show on it was like a local TV network thing. I don't know what it was, but he was saying things like bollocks and wanker and stuff like that, and they didn't realise he was swearing until after it went out. So that's one thing I can do. I can get away with swearing at people and they wouldn't know what I'm talking about. They just think, oh, he's just an English guy talking weird stuff.
Yeah. Were you talking about their buttocks?
Bollocks.
I know.
And in case anyone wants to know what bollocks look like, it's your balls, man. But anyway, paranormal. I've just technically been swearing for the past 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It's alright, it was British swear words.
Nobody will know that.
We'll get away with it.
Know.
So here's what we're going to do. To get away with swearing, guys, if any of the hosts are watching, don't use the F word, say bollocks, and say wanker, and we'll be fine.
That's fine. I'm good for wanker. I feel like that's...
Yeah, that basically that means you're...
right to me.
In case you don't know what that means, it means you're a jerk-off. Does jerk-off count as swearing? Because it only counts... I mean, they're two separate words that aren't swearing unless you put them together. I mean...
It's true.
We have to figure this out, man. We should have a meeting.
try.
We'll have a meeting tomorrow and figure out what makes a swear word a swear word.
We'll make a chart.
Like...
Hey, Ashley wants to know if she can use bloody wanker.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds kind of disgusting. That sounds like you're wanking...
Are we giving it a yes?
That sounds like that wanker is wanking too much.
but is it allowed? Is she allowed to?
Yeah, just
okay,
not,
there you go.
Just not on the BBC before 8 p.m.
Right.
So yeah, so we have castles, and then we have our history all the way up to World War II, where we have airfields and not just British airfields, American airfields. Where I live, basically this was given to the American Air Force. So there's like probably an American airbase every 10 miles. It's crazy.
Oh wow.
So that's what we have over here, and it's, I don't know why, but I've always preferred the American aircraft to the British. I've just always had a sort of pull in that direction for some reason. I don't know why. So I mean, as we're talking about history and swear words, I'm not going to connect the two. But what is your favourite part of history?
I think just the idea that it happened, like the bullet holes again for an example, it shows that like these stories actually took place, and I mean, Gettysburg wasn't that long ago, you know. It was a long time, but it's not like ridiculously thousands and thousands of years. So just to be reminded of how different it was so recently, it's just crazy. Like it shows the transformation of humanity. Really, I find it fascinating.
Yeah, see, I'm really big into the history too, and like I'm sure you've seen, obviously, when I go to different places, like that's one of the big things I like to do. Like when I went out to Norfolk, for instance, I had stopped by. Of course, I just completely forgot. Anyway, I stopped out there, and then and then I went to Norfolk, and then on the way back, I even went through Washington D.C. because I actually had never been there before. But I don't know. I really like the history stuff. I like seeing stuff that like. You see all these pictures, and like online they have all these beautiful statues and stuff, and it's just so awesome to be able to see them in person.
Yeah, it's crazy that like somebody made it and did those things, and that's how people lived. It's so weird. I feel like we all get wrapped up in this moment. It's like cool to look back and important to look back and be like, well, it wasn't so different so long ago, or it was very different long ago.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, World War II wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But we had only just discovered penicillin. And what's funny about that is the main thing it was used for in World War II was so that soldiers could get over having sexual transmitted diseases. Like, I've watched a video of a metal detector going to an old American airbase and finding old tubes of STD cream because they're in like
it's always been going on, man.
Like a metal tube thing. But that's funny. I think that's funny. But
yeah. Oh, it was oh my gosh, I just had it up. I completely forgot again. Oh, Williamsburg. Williamsburg is where I was at.
Nice.
Joe, if I ever do come to America, one of the things that I'm more interested in going to is, I mean, historical sites. I'm not really bothered about going to New York and seeing like Brooklyn Bridge or Broadway or whatever. I'm not really interested in that sort of stuff. I just want to get to know the real America. I just find too many people go to like Miami and Florida or New York, and that's about it. I don't know many people that have been to any other parts of America than that, from the UK anyway.
Yeah, I like that. The idea of like seeing the real America of what it was.
But then again, the real America for me would be like, okay, what's the most haunted building in this? What's the most haunted place in this state?
Right.
I mean, I've got a massive list of places that I have to go to from the East Coast all the way over to Oregon, and then probably in California. What's that boat called? What's that boat called that was on Ghost Adventures?
The Queen Mary?
Yeah, like that, for example. I think is that San Diego, I think? So yeah, there's a whole list of places. But the great thing about if you have a list for haunted places you want to visit in the UK, we're very small. We're about the same size as Florida, so we're probably smaller than Florida, so you can get that done like within a week.
It's pretty awesome.
Plus, like, they're old, like very old. And I know I joked about it earlier, saying that America has all the demons. Why do you think so many people refer to spirits that are like a bit nasty as demons?
I don't know. I bet it has something to do with like religious background.
America is a lot more religious than we are.
Yeah, I mean, there are spots where it's very religious, and there's like different, like America's so big, there's like different zones where, things like demons and possessions are more widely accepted, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's kind of like the go-to, just because that's what people are going to think of initially, just from like their past experiences. But yeah, I don't think that they're demons.
No, I mean I've always
like, do they exist? I don't know.
I think Paranormal Activity was one of the things to blame for it, because it appeared, I don't know if it's my imagination. I don't know if it's my imagination, but like demons and stuff started to become more popular after Paranormal Activity.
Well, those were actually, from what I heard, those were actually based off true stories. But then again, I mean, how true is a story from one, like family kind of thing?
I mean, there's lots of films that like are based on true stories, but are nowhere near the actual truth of the story.
Yeah, and
kind of like, okay, they fell out the window compared to in the movie they get thrown out the window.
Yeah,
right.
It's like someone at some point said to Mel Gibson, there was this Scottish guy in like olden days called William Wallace that had like some battles with the English, and that literally just made a film based on being told that. Because Braveheart is like nowhere near what really happened.
Yeah.
Not to. I
Good
mean,
movie though.
Yeah, it's all right. I know. Obviously, I don't know if you guys know this, but a few years ago there was a referendum in. I say a few years ago. 5 years ago, there was a referendum in Scotland, so they could actually leave the UK.
Okay.
And apparently, the day before, they put Braveheart on TV. And I was like, oh yeah, that's not going to convince. That's not going to convince people to vote to leave the UK, is it?
That's crazy.
Although, in fairness, I don't blame them for wanting to leave. I want to leave, so.
So hey, I don't know if you saw, Melissa says that she wants you to come to the U.S. and then, after that, she said the U.S. may not be ready for Alex, but she wants to watch it unfold. I don't know.
I'm scared that I might get shot. And I'm not saying it because I'm not saying it because I think there are guns everywhere. I know there are guns everywhere. I mean, I'm probably going to say something that I shouldn't to someone.
Exactly.
Because I tend to say stuff without thinking. I mean, if you watch this show, surely you should realise that by now.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'll hang out, but I'll just walk a significant amount of feet behind, just watching you experience America, so I feel safe.
If I start talking,
I'm still there with you.
If I start talking to someone, start walking away. That would be my advice.
You said you've been to Florida though, haven't you?
Yeah, but I was 13.
Oh, well.
George Bush was still in the White House. That's how long ago that was.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm, 30 nearly? So, 17 years ago? God, I'm old now. I feel old. But yeah, no, I stayed like in the Keys. And I went to see this Kennedy Space Center, and
that's cool.
Went to Miami and discovered that the only nice part of Miami appears to be that place where Will Smith filmed the Miami video, that road, Ocean Drive or whatever it is. Like that's the only nice bit. The rest of it's all shit. Oh, I swore again. Oh, seriously. No disrespect to anyone watching in Miami, obviously. It's just, from my perspective, that appeared to be the only nice bit. Again, I was 13. It was a long time ago, so I apologise.
Yeah, there's some rough spots in Miami for sure.
But I kind of feel sorry for Florida, because Florida seems to be like the brunt of like a lot of jokes in America.
Oh, now it is. It used to be Jersey hard.
It still is. I think it is kind of, but I think that's only down to like Jersey Shore and stuff like that. It's like I watch so many sitcoms where people mock Florida. I'm just starting to feel kind of sorry for it.
Yeah, I think they're going to come out with a show that just features like ridiculous police activity in Florida. So it's kind of sad.
I'm trying to think. It's the Good Place. where one of the main characters is from Jacksonville, and they go into a bank, and the bank man just they didn't know he was from Florida, and later on they discover he was from Florida, and they say if we knew he was from Florida, he wouldn't even got through the doors. I'm like, oh, poor Florida.
So mean.
But I went to Disneyland as well, but unfortunately I went and there was a storm, so they shut at 6, so it was really crap.
Yeah, it's messed up.
So I'm pretty sure so many kids have fond memories of going to Disneyland. Unfortunately, I don't.
Yeah,
Alright,
you came so far.
Yeah, and Alex, they're saying you need a swear jar. So I think by next week you need a swear jar and you need a whole roll of quarters. And then you're going to start putting a quarter in every time. And they said that's going to fund you going to America.
Okay, well, a quarter is like 15p in the UK, so...
Well, I don't know, whatever it is over
That's
there.
like nothing.
Just put $1 in each one, each time.
So, you want me to put about 75p
Sure.
in?
Yeah.
Why don't you say a
Fine,
pound?
put
One
P
pound.
in it every time, whatever a P is.
Well, that's nothing. That's a cent, basically, over here.
Well, whatever. Put
Yeah,
$1 American
whatever
in
you
there.
got to do.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Sorry, I forgot you guys are rich over there. You got them royal families and stuff.
Yeah, but your president's a billionaire, so... Our royal family aren't billionaires.
Definitely true.
Unless you, I mean, I don't know if you count the amount of land they own, I don't even think they're the biggest landowners in the UK anymore. But
No, that's because you're Mr. Moneybags.
I'm really not. It's not that. It's the fact that everything in the UK is expensive. It's like if we didn't have free healthcare, I'd probably be dead by now.
Well, like, what do you guys pay, like, minimum wage? Like, what's your minimum wage?
Probably the equivalent of about $9.
Oh,
Maybe a
okay,
bit
so
less.
pretty close to the same.
It might be a bit less. Actually, no, wait. It's more than that now. I'm thinking about when I was getting minimum wage when I was younger. No, it's gone up since then. It's about... Yeah, it's about $10, maybe a bit more. So it's £7.50. I think that's about like $10.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, stuff over here is just generally expensive. I mean, because we're an island, so many things have to be imported in, and we don't have our own, like, we don't have a coal industry really anymore. We don't have a steel industry anymore. So everything is just bought from overseas and China and stuff. Oh, okay. Yep. £8.21 is minimum wage now, apparently. So that shows how out of touch I am. And I don't even know.
So what's that American then?
That's probably about $13, $14 roughly.
Wow. That's almost double our minimum wage.
Yeah, we're at 15 in New York City now.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're at $8.75.
Yeah, but in fairness, I get the feeling Ohio is a lot cheaper to live in than New York.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you can't live in New York.
No. New York's expensive. I'll tell you what, though, Colorado seems like it's just as expensive as New York is. Because, like, we were out there, we had a 3-bedroom apartment, just a really small apartment, and it was, I want to say it was like $1,200 or $1,300 a month. I mean, that was a lot for just an apartment out there. I mean, for obviously for not being in a big-ass city like that.
I just remember
that's like a studio in New York City.
Right. Yeah.
I just remembered we're doing a paranormal show at the moment, but we're just generally having a conversation about whatever we feel like.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, no, because I could tie this in. When I was in Colorado, I was out there, and I did investigating out there. So, there.
Done.
Yep.
Boom. There you go. Paranormal, bitches. Oh, I just swore again. So, I've been behaving so well the past couple of shows, but tonight I just keep swearing. Right, we've talked about ghosts in terms of paranormal, Mike.
Right.
How do you feel about hooking up? No. How do you feel about aliens?
I think that there's probably life out in the cosmos somewhere. Like the more that I learn about, because I used to be a science teacher,
Okay.
and I taught about space. So I would always be like reading different articles and just like trying to be up and up. Just hearing about like the universe and how it's expanding and how like travel is super difficult. I've less and less believed in like UFOs flying here, but I'm also open to understanding that there may be technology that we don't yet understand. So I don't want to throw it out there because I want it to be real, because it'd be cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So, hey, real quick, Melissa wanted to know what your plans are for Paranormal Warehouse. She actually said that she watches this more than TV.
Oh my God, Melissa, you're the best.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, I want to bring more people on. I want to be able to develop like better and better programs to help support the programs that I have on right now, like the show that I'm on right now, and just grow and be able to grow. You know what I mean? Like we're being held back for whatever reason, but like I got plans in the work and
yeah, I mean we're always like obviously Mike and Chris, they Paranal Warehouse is theirs, but you're always in contact with us and the other creators and stuff like Goose and Chad and Annie. You know, we're always talking about trying to improve things and things we can do to move Paranal Warehouse forward. So yeah, so you know we're always in contact with each other, and I'm always messaging you saying, "Is this date free? Is this date free? Is this date free?"
Well, that's my fault. I should have shared the calendar with you a long time ago. But I'm actually going to reach out to you guys probably tonight, since I'm like at the computer finally. Some more ideas with stuff that we already have. So I don't want to just get focused on this one Facebook thing. I want us to try to like go for every avenue that we can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and obviously we have some serious shows on here, but we're not all serious. I mean, like if you're watching this, you must know that. I mean, we just like
Correct.
to generally we don't have anything planned really. We just start talking and then see where the conversation takes us. And we've spoken about minimum wage, so you know.
Yeah, we did it.
You know, that's relevant, you know, to life. We spoke about English swear words, which which is very relevant because you can say them in public in America and get away with it.
Yeah.
And obviously we've spoken about the paranormal and things like that, and just going back to what we were saying about aliens. I mean, you said you were a science teacher.
Yeah.
What specifically, or was it just general general kind of thing?
Yeah, so I did 6th and 7th grade. So 6th grade was Earth Science, where I talked about space and just the Earth in general. And then 7th grade was more biology. So I used to be more into the biological, like, theories and stuff like that. But then I went full nerd, and I like things like rocks and minerals and space. Stuff that used to be boring.
Because one thing, I don't think people realise this, and I watched something. Well, Helena was watching it, and I just happened to watch it as well. And I don't think some people realise how big the universe is. I mean, I think it's beyond ridiculous comprehension.
Yeah, and it's like, then you have the question of what's beyond the universe or the seeable universe. You know, it makes you realize that talking about ghosts is in no way as ridiculous as talking about the actual space that our solar system is flying through right now.
Yeah.
Because it's bonkers. You know, it's just, you can't, like, evolutionarily, I think, like, we're people, so we're able to kind of, like, think outwardly. So I think we may be, like, the first life to be able to think about the universe itself. But it's almost, like, too much for one person. And maybe if I was, like, a genius astrophysicist or some quantum theory physicist or whatever that was smarter, but it's overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like, to put things in perspective, if you take a grain of sand, and then, like, you want to say you got a grain of sand that's like our solar system, then the Milky Way galaxy is the rest of the beach, and then
Right.
if you take the Milky Way galaxy and put that into a grain of sand, then the rest of the beach is like the rest of the universe, probably
Which is
bigger.
absurd.
Which is that. I mean, that is how big things are, and that's why, for me personally, there has to be life beyond our own planet, and not everyone who's had a, let's say, UFO experience has to be crazy, unless there's something we don't even understand now that causes us to see things like that,
Right.
outside
Have you
outside
guys
of our own
seen
minds. I know people that have, and they're not like mad or anything.
Right.
I mean, like, we've had someone who works for the FBI, who used to work for the FBI on our show, who had experiences with UFOs and stuff, and he actually, it was what's his name, John DeZoa, and he actually used to look into paranormal stuff for the FBI. So basically, he was like
That's
the
awesome.
real X-Files guy.
That's cool.
So I mean, if I mean, we know the government is actually researching these things, and if the government is researching these things, then these things have to be real, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was a disclosure event where a bunch of U.S. There were like military personnel, and they were high-ranking people, and I'm pretty sure, I could be like telling the story wrong, but I think they made an agreement with each other that when the last one retired, that they would discuss their experiences openly. And if you haven't seen that, you should look it up on YouTube. It'll come up right away, like ex-military, whatever, disclosure event, and they each tell pretty outrageous stories, and they're just like old white dudes, you know what I mean? Or it's not someone that you would think, it's not, like some loon talking about a UFO. They were like, well, we had this experience, and it was witnessed by a bunch of people, and I don't know how to explain it. So I don't know why that group of people would make that up.
Right. So Heather asked, what about the flat Earth people?
I mean, the Earth is for sure round.
Yeah. I mean, we had one person on here, and obviously you guys watched our show enough to know that, we're down to listen to anything that anybody has to talk about. And we had the flat Earth person on here, and it was probably one of the craziest episodes, because I honestly started looking into what they were talking about. Not that I believed them, but because their theories are like mind-blowing, because it's like, doesn't make any sense. How is that real? I don't get it. But,
Yeah,
looking
let
back
me say this, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, to be a devil's advocate for this, I just recently watched a documentary on Netflix, and it kind of highlighted the community of flat earthers. I think they poked a little bit too much fun at them. Whatever.
Personally, I don't think you can poke enough, but that's just
I mean, I was gonna say they are like holding back like human being history in a way, but I couldn't help but see a lot of parallels between the Flat Earth Convention and these paranormal conventions, where they kind of hold people up on a pedestal, they kind of shun people, and it made me double think of, just kind of think about what we're doing here, and how we shouldn't be maybe poking fun. We're kind of a mess as it is, as a group of people working together.
Well,
we can't get our act together whatsoever.
I suppose I could say, yeah, there's people in the paranormal industry that are probably as mad as people that think the Earth is flat.
Right. Yeah.
That's for definite. But the thing is, we question things. Flat Earthers are adamant that the Earth is flat, to the extent
that's the one thing that, like, at least we're still trying to figure it out and not being like, well, this is how it is because it is, and there isn't like hours of footage of the actual Earth from space to be like, well, it's not flat, so.
No. And going back to that show this was when we were on Cake, or going back to when we had that guy on the show. I mean, what he was saying, I couldn't really disagree with it. It made sense to me, but the thing was, afterwards I just thought about it and thought he was just basically a good salesman, because this guy has made a lot of money out of the flat Earth theory. He does guest appearances, does talk shows, he's got books, so he makes a lot of money out of it, and I think he's just like a good salesman on the whole flat Earth theory thing. But I've looked, like I said, I looked into it like Greg did, and I was like, no, this guy's just full of crap. There's no way the Earth is flat. I mean, they're talking about how comes we don't fall off when it spins, and I'm like, it's not as easy to explain like that. It's like we would notice it if the Earth suddenly stopped, basically.
Yeah, that'd be a wrap.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you're in a car, you don't really. It's like you're sitting there, you're fine, but then if the car suddenly stops, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. See, that's what I guess one of the big things that bothered me was every question we would ask, or every start of a topic we would ask about it, there was never a right answer.
No.
I had said, perfect example. I had said, well, how can you prove the Earth is flat if we drove through the center of the continents and went all the way around the world on a boat? So how could that be possible? And his answer is, well, the Earth's actually like a dinner plate, and they were just going around the dinner plate. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. We went through the middle of the planet, the actual continents. Mm-hmm. So how is that possible?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you have fundamental physics that proves that the Earth is made of mass, and mass, the more massive it is, more gravity, and then we're being held to it by gravity. It's all accounted for, It's not it's not like we're how are we stuck to this rock? We kind of know to a degree.
For me, there was no fundamental pieces of evidence that said, yeah, this proves that the Earth is flat. It was just more well, this might explain. This might be a reason why we can say the Earth is flat. I don't know what part of what I can't remember what he was referring to, but there was a part of the Earth where he said that if you measure it or look at it or whether it is actually perfectly flat. And I said, well, the Earth isn't a perfect sphere. I'm pretty sure. I mean, there's lumpy bits all over the place. I mean, they've got mountains and stuff. So, I just didn't think of it at the time. But no, he never gave an actual reason. He just basically answered our questions with more questions.
Yeah, right. I was gonna ask you, what was his rock solid info? What are they holding on to?
There wasn't any. It was he just gave it very well. He was very well. His approach was very well. It was obviously he's obviously sort of scripted it in his head. He's done it. He's talked about it so many times that it's just very easy for him now. But there's so many things in the world right now that are sort of holding humanity back, and flat Earth is one of them. I'm not going to go into the other ones right now because I don't want to upset anyone. But flat Earth for me is one of the reasons why humanity is being held back. Well, I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end the show soon because it's nearly 2:00 in the morning where I am. So, Mike, have you got any more shows for Real or Fake coming up?
Yeah, we're gonna do one tomorrow. We're gonna be back on our schedule probably on Sundays moving forward. We go before you guys.
Oh yeah,
so we'll be back on that.
Yeah, we've got a Ouija board show at 7 tomorrow.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, we're good. Got you.
Did you just have interest with the Ouija board show? Did you ever watch? I mean, I don't know if you ever watched it, but I was just wondering if you saw what people were commenting.
Oh, the previous one?
Yeah, or even we put a post on Paranal Warehouse the other day, and even some guy commented then about demons and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's as someone who's trying to get people to interact with your page, Ouija board, top notch. People are gonna be talking. People are super heated about it.
Yeah, I've had so many people telling me to not do it because it's dangerous and that we're going to summon a demon and all sorts of stuff.
I mean, that would be some. You get a demon, that'd be some great views. You know what I mean?
yeah. I get possessed by a demon and start eating the house. I don't know what demons do. So
They may eat houses. I'm not sure though.
so what are you discussing on Real or Fake tomorrow? Or
Well,
is it kind of a wait and see kind of thing?
there's a guy that's very popular on the YouTube, and he claimed to have. Anytime somebody dies, he's able to like communicate with them through these devices.
With spices.
So it's what's his name? Oh, Huff Paranormal.
Oh, that dude.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about him a little bit and how he's kind of like a scumbag for like being opportunistic over some people's death.
The thing is, I've never watched him. I don't even know what the dude looks like. I just whenever anyone mentions his name, I just automatically think, oh, he's a D word.
Yeah, I mean, anytime someone dies, he'll put up like he did it with Robin Williams and everything. I don't know what this device is. He sells it for like hundreds of dollars on his website. And he claims to communicate with these people.
I don't know if it was him. I think it was someone else, but there was someone trying to communicate with Stephen Hawking with a spirit box.
Yeah, I think it was him.
But I was like you said, the name just came through, and I'm like, it's obviously radio interference, and he just died, so you're probably getting a news broadcast. It just seems so obvious to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked, and I don't know. I'm saying this as me knowing nothing, but I wouldn't be shocked if that was like some pre-recorded BS put into some machine that we don't know how it works.
I'm definitely going to be watching that because there are a lot of charlatans in this industry that are ruining it for the rest of us. But Mike, thank you for coming on, and so everyone watching, I apologise that we didn't talk about like ghosts and shit all the time. But that's what we're like. We just kind of forget that you're watching and just have a general conversation about anything we feel like. So
I think that makes it fun.
But no, it was great. And thank you, Greg, for again wearing an awesome T-shirt.
It is an awesome T-shirt. I agree.
So yeah, guys, watch Real or Fake tomorrow. Keep supporting Paranal Warehouse and all the creators on the page. We nothing but love to everyone that does stuff for Paranal Warehouse. So Real or Fake tomorrow, and then obviously we've got a Ouija board show tomorrow as well.
And also remember, next weekend I'll be live.
And what location was you at, Greg?
Oh, it's going to be in Kentucky.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
I honestly forgot the name of it again.
So we'll confirm times and stuff during the week, but Greg will be at a location on Saturday. So don't forget to check that out, guys. Yep. Okay, so
Phillips Folly.
Sorry?
Phillips Folly is what it's called.
All right, cool. So don't forget to check that out, guys. We hope that you enjoy the rest of the week, and sorry the weekend's over. But back to work tomorrow for most of you. I don't know. All right, take care, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for coming on, Mike and Greg.
No, thank you, guys.
And thank you for watching, everybody. All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.